Okay. Woohoo. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started just because I know a few people need to leave earlier. But I do want to just say how much I appreciate everybody just showing up for me. And with such short notice, with only a week, I really appreciate this. And we get to meet a new person as well. And so that's great too. So I want to start out by introducing myself. And my name is Sherry Sachs. I am a diabetes educator, I'm a nurse, and I am a health educator. And I've been doing diabetes education for about 30 years. You can think of me as your neighbor, the nurse, the person that helps you connect the dots between your doctor's visit and what's really going on in your real life. And today I'm going to start with a presentation and I'm going to talk about the presentation and then I'm going to give people time to actually ask questions and maybe get the answers. And we have some other experts here in the room, so we should be able to cover a lot of information. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Okay. Yay. Okay. And if you have questions along the way, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. But today's conversation is about missing conversations about type 2 diabetes. And these conversations are the conversations that you wish you had time to talk to your doctor about, but you just never get time to. And the whole reason I'm doing this seminar, and it's actually going to be a series of different questions that I'm going to be answering, is because I spend a lot of time in diabetes chat rooms on Facebook, on an Instagram, and they're just not a friendly place. And people are trying their best and to give out good information, but they're still giving out information that may not be totally right for everyone. Some of it may not be accurate at all. And some of it, parts of it are right and parts of it aren't. And I really believe that the reason that this is happening is because people don't have a great way to ask questions once that doctor's visit is over. And so I want to solve that. So today I'm going to be talking about the question that frustrates me the most. And maybe in future episodes, I can talk about the questions that frustrate you the most and the ones that you really want to know. So, can everybody see my screen? Maybe I should start there.
Yes.
Okay. And it looks appropriate. Okay. Okay, great. So today I want to start by just saying, um, how many of you are here because you finally want to understand what's happening in your body? Anybody? You can just nod. You don't have to put it in the chat. You can just nod, right? You can just say in your own head whether you're here for that or not. Or maybe it seems like other people can get their diabetes under control and I can't, and it's really frustrating you because other people seem like they have it all together. Or maybe it's just you're doing everything you can do, but doesn't seem to be working. You're following all the advice that is out there on social media and it's just not working for you. So I hope that you're here for one of those, or maybe you're just here to support me, which I also really appreciate you for. You may not have diabetes, but I'm sure you know somebody in your life who does. So thank you. So we have these frustrations and fears because we hear so much about um, the only way to control diabetes is to eat fewer carbs or to eat more protein or you have to lose weight or you need to exercise more and the blame is put on you, right? It's all about the things that you should be doing or could be doing better, and even that self-talk is about what I could do better and I ate this today and I shouldn't have. But that's only part of the picture. Some of those things are true, right? Ingrid, I know you know all about eating well, right? And it's really important. Exercise is really important. We're going to talk about why, but that's one piece of the picture. The thing that nobody really talks about is what's happening in our body, that the fact that we're aging and have metabolic changes, the fact that as we age, we have this whole cascade of things happening in our body and it results in insulin resistance. And then as we continue to age, if we're lucky enough, we may have something called beta cell decline. Now, all of these are medical words and are really sound complicated, but we're going to break it down here so that you understand really what's going on in your body. And you're going to see how it ties together so that you know how to make the best choices that you can in order to live your life the way you want while managing diabetes. So what's happening is let's compare it to our garage door and arriving at our house. So think of your car. Your car is full of food. It's full of groceries, right? And that's the energy that we need to keep our families going. In a perfect world, if we pull up to our garage, our remote control works, we hit the button and the garage door opens, right? We can get the food from our car into our house and the world is happy. We have stuff to eat, our garage door is working, and our life goes on smoothly. In pre-diabetes, what's happening is things don't work quite as well. Maybe that remote battery is not as full as we had hoped. It's now 5 years old, or the garage door is sticking a little bit. So now if we have our fuel, our food in our car trunk, and we pull up to the garage, we hit that button, which is insulin, and we want that garage door to open so that we can get the food into our house, which is our cells. We hit that button, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't, right? And it's a crapshoot. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I've been known to shake my remote control or just curse at and bang it, right? And then it'll work again, and I can get the energy or food that's in my car into my house through my garage, right? Now, when my remote control really stops working, either the battery is dead or there's something wrong with the sensor in the house, it could create a traffic jam. So now I'm sitting outside my house. I have my food in the trunk. I'm using my remote control to try to open the door to get my food into the house or the energy into my cells, and it's just not working. The kids now are around. They've already come home with their fast food. They're sitting behind me, waiting for me to open the door, right? Because they're not doing anything. They're kids. They want me to do all the work. And then my husband comes home and he wants to get into the garage too. But there's this traffic jam. So now if we think about it, all of us are stuck because we can't open that door. And that's what happens with insulin resistance. Does it make sense? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the nods. So, what's really happening in our body? So, if we take that analogy and put that into our body, what we see is that we are aging, right? As we age, we're fortunate to be here, but we have changes in our muscle mass. We have changes in our hormone. Now, our body becomes a little bit more inflamed just because of life. Maybe it's the things we eat. Linda, you were talking earlier that you didn't sleep well. All of those things release different hormones, right? And most of them, some of them are happy hormones, but some of them are stressful hormones. And when those stressful hormones are released, they raise our blood sugar. And so that's what happens. And as we age, we may hold on to a little bit of fat. Maybe we don't exercise as much, and we start feeling different. We start having insulin resistance, which means that the energy that's floating in our bloodstream from what we eat, so what we eat breaks down into blood sugar, stays in our bloodstream until we can open the door of our cells and get that energy into the cells to be used for its function, right? Now, insulin resistance just means that the cells don't respond as well to getting that energy in. So the energy stays in our bloodstream, our sugars stay in our bloodstream, and eventually it will go into our cells. Now, over a long period of time, as our pancreas is trying to put out insulin, our pancreas produces insulin in something called beta cells. Well, these cells do all this work and all this work, and they're working really hard. And then when they become strained over time, they don't work as well. And then they finally slowly stop working altogether because they're just exhausted, right? They've done all of this work to hit up against our cells and knock on the door, only to have somebody slam the door in them or not let them in, or let them in just a little bit. So our blood sugars stay high. We don't necessarily have enough insulin. Maybe we do. Maybe we have more insulin because our body's working really hard, but it's not getting where it needs to be. And that's what happens when you have diabetes. Okay. So now knowing that sometimes it's just our body that's changing, we can think about medicines a little bit differently. So medicines aren't a failure. A lot of people on social media tend to think that medicines are a failure. If you have to go on medicine, you're doing something wrong, right? That, you know, just changing your diet should be enough. Again, going back to all of those should things that are in our head, right? But it's not. It's really what's happening in our body and our natural aging process. So we do wind up getting prescribed things like metformin, which helps your insulin works better. It helps shut off some of the um, blood sugar that's being released because your cells are hungry and the sugar is staying in your blood system and not getting into your cells. So metformin helps with some of that leaky liver stuff that your body is putting out, more glucose. Then we have other medicines that are really popular right now. You turn on TV or on social media, you're going to hear about GLP-1s, right? And they've been used for diabetes for many, many years. And it helps, again, support the pancreas. It slows stomach emptying so that when you eat, it holds your blood sugar more stable because it's a slower digestive process. But mostly, it turns off the noise in your head that makes you concentrate on food so much. And that's the beauty of GLP-1s when they're used appropriately. We have others. The name is really big. You may know the name as Jardiance or Invokana. And that medicine is a class of medicine that helps your blood sugar that's in your bloodstream, pass through your kidneys and out your urine. So it lowers your blood sugar as you excrete it in your urine. And again, great medicines if they're right for you, but it's using your body's process to naturally lower your blood sugar as a tool. And lastly, insulin. So many people are afraid of insulin, and Linda Gale. Oops, hang on, I have a question. One sec. Do GLPs stop the food noise for good, or does it return when you stop taking it? So it only works while you're taking it. When you go off it, that food noise returns, and that's why you see people have like lose a bunch of weight, and then all of a sudden they'll gain that weight back. Now, in diabetes, the way we used to use GLP meds and still do when we're talking about it from a diabetes perspective, as opposed to the weight loss perspective that people are using it now for, we would do counseling around it. So we would talk to people about how to calm that food noise down. We would talk to them about food choices and how to substitute. And so we would wrap those medicines in a program. And then hello, Mel. Somebody asked, does that food noise chatter return stronger? And that's a really good question. I don't think so. I think it just returns. It may feel stronger because now you're hearing it again, as is how I think about it, but I don't necessarily know it's actually stronger and more intense. Yeah, Linda's saying she doesn't think so either, and doesn't know, right? Like, yeah, good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So now let's talk about insulin. Is a hormone that our body produces. It just runs in the background all the time. It helps us control our blood sugar. And a healthy person, we don't know it's there. When you start having diabetes, you pay more attention to it because you're thinking about your blood sugars more. But we need it. So having to take insulin as an injection, really, it's just a tool. We can't live without it. It's not a failure. You did nothing wrong that your beta cells in your pancreas got tired out. That's not your fault, right? But what you can do is help yourself and improve how you're feeling by taking the right medicine for you. And that's why these medicines are so important. Okay. Okay. So how do we know when our medicines are working? We need to measure, right? And now we have really great ways to measure. A lot of people now are using something called continuous glucose monitors. You'll see the little like patch on the back of their arm, and they're great. It's like watching a movie real time of your blood sugars and where they're at, right? It's information. It's you can see how exercise and meals and medication affect you, and your patterns become clear so that you can make decisions about how you want to manage your day and what you can do. Oh, there you go. Love my CGM. Yeah, they're great. They're like, I really believe they're the best tools of the 21st century. It's a game changer. Now, not everybody qualifies for them, right? So we have old-fashioned blood glucose meters. That's where you take a finger stick, you take and kind of prick your finger, you put it on a little slide, and you insert that into a meter, and you get a reading. That's a real-time snapshot of what's going on in your body. And again, you can make really good decisions with them. Um, and some people take their blood sugar once a day, some people watch it continually, but the more data you have, the more control you have over what your blood sugar is doing so that you can see it. Yeah, I hope that CGMs get rolled out to non people who don't have diabetes as well as preventive. I think that they can really provide a lot of insight over control, right? As people are learning their bodies as we change, because our bodies are different every day because we are aging, right? Everybody probably has had at least on this call, just because of our demographics here, everyone has probably had a test called an A1C. And that's a measure of how your blood glucose is doing over time. It's a 3-month period, and it's really good for your doctor to at least begin to understand where you're at and what medications he or she may be able to add to understand how you're doing, right? But it's a longitudinal test. It goes out over time. It doesn't give us those specifics. So that's really where the beauty of finger sticks and blood and continuous blood glucose monitors come in. Yeah, yes, you can pay out of pockets. There are newer versions that are cheaper to pay out of pocket, and we can talk about those um, after we're done with this slide, so we can have that conversation and go a little bit deeper because they are good. And I have a feeling a lot of us on these calls have some really good input on that. So you're here, you took the time to learn about your body. So now let's learn about some things that really can make a difference for you when you're managing blood sugar. Um, and really it's you can change what you're eating and how you're eating and the proportions of what you're eating to add some protein to what your meals, to add some fiber to your meals, and to add some healthy fats to your meals. It's not just about taking carbs away. Carbs are really good for some people. For some people, the best thing that they can be on is a ketogenic diet that is really low in carbs. But it really depends on your body and what works for you. For some people, that could be really harmful. But it's the balance of all of the things that are really helpful. People, now let's go on to number two. So move after meals. Exercise in general is healthy, right? I'm not going to tell you that it's not. We need 45 minutes a day, at least 3 times a week of moderate exercise, and more if we can get it. Exercise helps with insulin resistance. So exercise will help open those cells so that your blood sugar can come out of your bloodstream and get into the cells where they're needed to help your body function. But even light exercise for 10 to 15 minutes after you eat will help open your cells and get that blood sugar in. The beauty of exercise is that it doesn't just last while you're doing it. It has a carryover effect to lower your insulin resistance for long term. If you're doing moderate amount of exercise, that exercise will help your blood sugar for about 24 hours. So it's a win-win for everyone. But if you can't exercise after dinner, do the dishes, do the laundry. It's a great time to clean up and straighten up your house, to move around, to just keep your body working to reduce your insulin resistance. I talked a little bit already about sleep and stress and how cortisol that's produced when we need to fight or when we are in a state of panic increases our blood sugar because our body is ready to fight the world when we're stressed, right? We just want to go out there and fight the world. And so our body prepares us to do that by increasing our blood sugar. So that's where taking a deep breath, maybe it's that way, right? Or meditating or breathing or looking outside or smelling some fresh flowers or looking at trees, all of that will help lower your cortisol, which will lower your blood sugar. Now, it doesn't just drop it down, but it does lower it over time, right? And I hope you can leave here today by learning that all of these things influence your patterns. And the question isn't whether was I good today? It really is, what did I learn today? And how can I take what I learned today and apply it till tomorrow? Because it's those things that really will help you build long-term sustainable habits. A lot of us on here are coaches, all coaches in our own way. So I think we all know about habits, but those little tiny steps lead to big changes, right? And the important thing is that you don't have to figure this out alone, right? When you go to your doctors, your medical visits are short. Your doctor does the best they can, but they're diagnosing you. They're listening to your symptoms. They're talking to you and telling you the most important information, but there still may be gaps. And that's the beauty of what I do and all health coaches do, right? So people come to me and want to know more about exercise. They want to know, why do they wake up in the morning with their blood sugars low, I mean high, right? A lot of times people wake up with their blood sugars high. They want to know what happens when they get sick and why are their blood sugars raised? Or maybe just, I did everything I was supposed to do and my blood sugars are still terrible today. And it could be because you had some random thought that raised your blood sugar, right? And so it's knowing that things like that are normal, that high blood sugar is information, it's not a failure. And you just need to figure out what you can do for your body and the way it works in your body to feel your best. And again, to help you with those small, consistent changes. So, a few examples of some clients I would love to share with you just to give you a feeling of the value of what health coaching can do. So Cindy came to me after she was hospitalized with ketoacidosis. She was really overwhelmed. Her doctor put her on a CGM, but CGMs, for those of you who don't know, have lots of different lines, and all the different lines have different colors, and you have arrows on it that go up and down to tell you whether your sugars are going up or down. And so she was released from the hospital. She was newly diagnosed. She had to worry about her insulin, this new device that she had, and she was scared because she was hospitalized. She did not like to go below 120, but she also didn't like to go above 160. So she had a very little range. And anytime she got out of that range, she was upset, right? She would go into this fearful panic mode, and it was really upsetting for her. So she called me, and within, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks, she was feeling more comfortable with what was going on with their body. Her numbers were beginning to lower. And in fact, over time, she was able to lower her insulin and get off one of her insulins and another one of her medicines because she understood what was going on with her body. It's that powerful to understand how to connect all those dots, right? I work with another couple. We'll call them Steve and Sue, right? And so Sue has a CGM and she was diagnosed, and Steve is borderline with his diabetes. He has prediabetes. And that just means his sugars are a little bit higher, but he hasn't been officially diagnosed with diabetes. So they're like the couple that you want to be. They're in their mid 70s, right? They eat right, they're exercising, they're taking care of their grandkids and their granddogs and doing all the things. And they still have this problem with their blood sugars being elevated. So they came to me for help to figure out what was going on. And for them, it was making little tiny changes. They ate yogurt in the morning with bananas or blueberries. And so we changed their honey that they would put on their yogurt to agave, lower glycemic index, so their blood sugar wouldn't go up as high, but it still tasted the same. They didn't have to make a huge change, but just an adjustment. They decided to go for walks after dinner because that would help lower their blood sugar naturally, right? As opposed to doing anything big. And so for them, I talk to them once a month. We talk about what's going on in their lives, how their dogs are, and then we make little tiny adjustments to bring their A1Cs down just gradually. And then I often work with people, and I'm sure many of you on this call often work with people who tell me that they thought that high blood sugar meant that they failed, and it just doesn't. And when you start thinking about how your body works and that it's a body issue and not necessarily a failure on your part, it lets go of all of that shame that you feel that you're doing something wrong, right? And when you're feeling ashamed, you don't want to look at your numbers. You don't want to go to the doctors. You don't want to talk about it because now you feel like you have to justify what is going on and why you're not doing what the doctor told you. When in real life, your life isn't a textbook. You have things going on, things you can't predict, and you're doing the best you can. That's what we're all doing. So when you understand what's happening in the body, you can make real-time adjustments based on really what's happening in your life. And that's the beauty of health coaching. So I want to thank you for your time. I'm going to take all your questions now. So I would love to have you book a consultation with me. Oh, sure. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for coming. So, if you're interested in hearing more about health coaching for diabetes, and actually I talk to people about all sorts of chronic conditions, please book a one-on-one consultation with me. You can see up, I think it's this side, my my QR code, and you can book a consultation there. I'm also happy to say I have a summit coming up with Ingrid, who's also on this call, and we have some really cool things planned for you. We have a program, it's called Midlife Metabolism Matters, because we went for alliteration. It's on September 17th, and it really is helping people understand what's going on in their body and how to improve their hormonal health. I'll be talking about diabetes and pre-diabetes and blood sugar again. Ingrid will be talking about how to make good food choices when you go to the grocery store, what to look for, what to select, and really how to fit good food choices into your body. And maybe it's just food choices into your body, right? And we'll also be having people to help us learn how to exercise better and how to craft better because things like opening up your creativity and socializing with people and just being part of community, that's all part of medicine too. Right? We always think of exercise and what we eat, but being creative and being in the company of others is medicine as well. And then I'm also really excited to announce in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be releasing a new website, and it's going to have a community area in there where we can all go in and support people and each other as we're dealing with whatever we're dealing with in life. There'll be some tools to listen to music. We can play games in there. It'll be really fun. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm going to stop sharing now and I'm going to open it up for questions. Oh, hello, Tammy. I got had some new people and Mealy, welcome.
Sherry, can you tell me, is the summit that you're doing with Ingrid in person? Is it online?
It'll be online.
Okay.
And
I'll,
I
I'll
think,
text you to get the details. I'd love to come.
yeah. Yeah, I would love to see you there. So it's going to be online. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 hours because we're doing all sorts of fun steps. Ingrid's saying three. And the flyer will be coming shortly. We have a preview of
Awesome.
it that we really like, but we're still working on the details.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Marion. Hi,
Hi, such an important subject. Oh my God. The most, I think, of our time, or one of the most for sure. And there's a lot of important subjects going on right now.
Mo. Yes, there are.
Um, I was late and I apologize, but did you, with that food chatter, like, I've been noticing that my subconscious is even like, going around the chatter and straight towards the action of overeating. And last night, I did something yesterday that like could be conceived as good, and yet I overate I was so in pain from the amount of overeating I did, and it took a long time to like, I think it was a big meal around, I don't know, let's say 4 o'clock because I'm trying to eat early. And but I was still full at 10 when I was trying to go to bed. And of course you can't sleep, you
Yeah.
know. So do you it's now it's like this hair trigger response that doesn't even, it bypasses chatter. It goes straight to overeating. Did you address that?
I didn't. That's kind of Ingrid's sweet spot. So I did not address that this time. But yeah, it's a real problem, right? And it's one of those things where it's not even self-talk. You can self-talk your way out of it sometimes, right?
Sometimes.
Other times it's the foods that we're eating is triggering. Like some
Mm.
people, my Aunt Linda will appreciate this. When I was younger, I used to keep a bag of Oreos in the house, and I always put it on the top shelf because I couldn't sleep without it in the house, but I didn't want to reach it, right? So I put it away. I knew it was there and I didn't have to think about it. But if it wasn't in the house, all I could do was think about it, right? It was like my worst enemy. And
Interesting.
right. And so it's what's those triggers and what can you do to meet that trigger and yet not lean into it. Right.
Hmm.
So some people can eat, 2 tablespoons of something, and some people just can't. If they eat two tablespoons of something, they need to eat the whole pie, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's actually one of the conversations I had with Steve. What did I call her? With Steve and Sue yesterday was right. Like, how can you share the dessert? Because that will be the best thing. She had peach cobbler. They had peach cobbler. So yes,
Don't say peach cobbler. No, I'm just kidding.
don't say any of it. Don't say any of it. Yeah.
All
So,
right. I'm
so
looking forward to more tips and tricks, as I navigate this. I've been navigating my whole life. Food has always been my first drug of choice. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it is really challenging, and it's knowing your triggers and trying to stay away from them, and maybe that's what I'll leave it at today because I feel like that's a whole separate topic, and maybe we can really have another episode on the missing conversations of how to solve those food cravings. I think that's a great idea.
Thank you. I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Talk to you on Friday. Any other questions? No? Okay, well, then I am going to give you back some time. I will send everybody out a recording for this. And I am just so thankful that you are here today. I hope you got something out of it. And these will get better as I go. And I hope that you enjoyed it. So thank you. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. And
Thanks, Sherry.
I will talk to you all soon. I'm going to stop.
You